floss tube. This is a little bit of a different setup for me. I have my, for my floss tube setups. So I'm about to do a Stitch With Me remix. Lost the ball again. So that's why the angle's like this, because you're gonna watch me stitch. And I guess get a little bit of an insight on how my real life stitching is, because right now Gazpacho's playing with the ball. And so that is something that he will do nonstop. He's gonna jump on the couch and then lose the ball, and then you're gonna hear lots of scattering and gremlin noises and things like that. But from what I'm hearing, it's okay. It would drive me nuts, but if you guys are okay with gremlin noises and crazy dogs, then so be it. I wanted to show you, oh, don't get dizzy on me. So this is what today looks like. No sun, it's cloudy. The cool thing about the island is, like, no matter what the weather's like, there's always something going on. So I had seen somebody kite surfing, but I don't see him anymore. Yeah, no, he's not there anymore. And then, let's see, what else can I show you? That's gonna change because we're getting a new TV stand. So all those wires that I freaking hate are gonna be gone. And see, he's playing with his ball. Friends and family know that this is totally normal. So he's gonna hide the ball into his blanket, hunt it, and then lose it, and yeah. And then we have a new toy. That's Dino. Dino has been a new favorite recently. He squeaks, but nothing ever beats ball. See? Okay. I had said that I was going to stitch on Santa's Magic, and please hold. Santa's Magic has been upgraded to my, I think it's Omanic quantum frame. And so I thought that was gonna be a fun, or not a fun, Stitch With Me, because he won't be able to see me. I had mounted him and he was supposed to be like this, but the fabric's too long and I don't have any bigger frames. I have a smaller one, but not a bigger one. So I've been stitching him basically hugging the frame. So like, this is my normal kind of stance, or like here, I have a little ottoman that like I push up against the thing, so I have like a foot resistance, and I put like my threads and floss there. But yeah, so it's been kind of tough to stitch. And so for a Stitch With Me video where the camera's on me versus the stitching, which is a little bit different too, I had put on a poll and people were it was literally like split down the middle. Half camera on you, half camera on the stitching. So I decided to make an executive decision, and I don't see very many, but I really like when the camera's on the stitcher because I like to see facial expressions and I feel like I'm there with them instead of like watching the stitching, unless there's like a specialty stitch that I want to learn, then obviously on the stitching. But I will not be stitching on Santa's Magic. I'll do like an update at my next floss tube to show you where I'm at, but you can kind of see like all of that is new because of ergonomics. And if you guys have any, like, I know that there's a stand that maybe that would help, but this is so big and heavy, I just don't imagine any stand being able to hold the weight. And also, I'm at the point where I need to fill in white on white. Well, it's not white, but like super light colored fabric, and work with whisper threads. So I will wait until the future to be able to get like a camera mounting system or phone mounting system or something system to show me or get the angle on the stitching so that you can see how to work with, or how I work with, whisper threads. So that'll be future. So yeah. Pause. So what I am working on today, this is my husband's birthday week. So that is why I'm recording today my Stitch with me, because he went to go and get a massage. So I was like, yes, please do go get out of the house, because then that gives me time to do this and to do any other weird things that I like to do on my own. But you're gonna get a little insight, like I said, to how I stitch normally. This is my stitchy spot. You already saw my stitchy view. And then Gazpacho kind of hangs out there, and sometimes we'll jump up and just kind of hang out here. So yeah, the only other thing that you're missing is, so this is that ottoman. Oh, I hope you didn't get super dizzy. That's the ottoman, and like right here is where I push it up. And now I think you guys are crooked. There we go, much better. So since it's my husband's birthday week, I brought back out the macaw. I put him on a Q-snap, which is different because last time I was stitching on him was on a hoop, but I'm so over hoop marks, so over them. So I have purchased quite a few Q-snaps and I like them. And then of course I have like a coordinating Clay by Kim Dragon. This is actually the first one that I bought off of Etsy. It's my first baby. It was like a koi fish dragon. So that's who is accompanying me on my macaw. And I have to stitch a lot of DMC black, like a ton of it. So I thought that was a really good piece to kind of pull out and do my first stitch with me, because I've never done one of these before. And we'll see how it goes and how you guys like or dislike, and we'll go from there, because I don't even know. So I guess this is where I kind of get started, pulling out the 310. Gosh, this is gonna be a little harder than I thought, because now I have to talk, think, and stitch. It's a lot of things. I hope everyone has had a good week. Everyone always starts like that, right? I hope everyone's had a really good week. I sure have. It's been busy. Oh, dang it. I lost my needle. Oh, I lost my needle. Again. No, it's on the floor. So, fun fact, I never lose my needle. Ever. I always have it on a needle minder. I always, had never lost a needle ever. I'm a thread licker also. So all of my stuff has spit and DNA on it. So now I'm gonna post up, and here's my pattern, and I'm good to go. Gosh, that was probably a really rough start. Anyway, now we're in it. We're in it to win it. Something fell, I'm not even gonna look. Where was I? Oh, I never lose needles, ever. Had never, ever lost a needle, and it was like something that I was super proud of. I was so proud of never losing a needle, because that's like a really good thing, like to say like, oh, I've never lost a needle. I'm super good about it. I'm very considerate. It won't be found in anybody's foot. No one will eat it. You know what I'm talking about. But this year alone, 2020 is the year of losing needles. Gazpacho's down here. Gazpacho, come here. Come on. Do you know that I'm filming? Here, come to your stitchy spot. I don't have anything for you. I've lost like 2 needles in a month. It's kind of a big deal. Can't find them at all. I've checked under couches, in the couches. The only thing that I can think of now is that they're like like stuck in the couch cushion. Because I don't know what else they could be, where they could be. So yeah, that's super sad. In other news, oh, it's a new toy too. See? So it comes up here. He hangs out with me. So other news is one of our neighbors, and when I say neighbors, I talk about people who live within walking-ish or swimming distance. So I live on the beach. I have the ocean right there. So if I were to get in there and I were to swim that way, to the left, I would hit my neighbor's house. But they don't have a beach, like they're just in the ocean. So their backyard is the ocean, and they have a dock. And apparently we have pirates now, because on Friday, somebody got into their house from the back, which means that there had to have had, one, a speedboat or some sort of boat. Two, they had to climb up the dock. I think it's called a dock. In Spanish, it's a muelle. El muelle. Dock. I'm going to call it the dock. So they had to climb up it and then walk down the dock and then go through one of the windows. Super weird. They didn't steal anything like super valuable. She said that the only thing that was missing was like petty cash from her purse, but that they had like left a mess. I don't really know what that means. Here you go. So yeah. I'm gonna get distracted in my own videos. There's gonna be some silence. You know, you guys should grab your stitching or do whatever menial task you have to do and just have something mindless in the background. Because I can literally talk mindless things for a really long time. So on that note about pirates, we should be okay because we have a beach, 1. 2, our townhome is like 3 stories. So they would have to like climb up to the 2nd floor. It would be impossible. Oh, and jump the wired fence. Nah. And like a bunch of bushes and stuff. Not as easy as just climbing a dock and walking down a dock. Isn't that weird? Those things are like the weird things that happen in my life. Or that I hear about and I'm like, I can't even. Those are the things that I deal with here. Another thing that I'm dealing with is that my refrigerator, the ice maker isn't working. It hasn't been working since like when I went on vacation, or not vacation, but went home for the holidays. So when I went home for the holidays and came back, we used up all our ice and then we ran out of ice and we're like, what? Something's wrong with the ice maker. And I've had, so repairmen are really funny here too, because repairmen, see, this is what I do. I have to give it back to him, and then he brings it to me, and then I bring it back. Repairmen, the first time they come, they like examine the problem. And by examining the problem, it's basically making sure that what you said is what's happening. Don't look for logic. So I say, my ice maker's not working. So the first time they come and they get a glass and they check the ice and they see that the ice maker's not working. And then they say, okay, thanks, I'll come back. I'm used to it now because a lot of things have kind of broken down, and or not a lot of things, but some things have kind of broken down, and so I know that the repairman or whoever's gonna comes literally on the first try just to see that what you said is so, and then they leave. I'm in a rental unit, so it doesn't bother me. I'm like, if you fix it, you fix it. If you don't fix it, you don't fix it. I don't care. It doesn't really affect me. And it's ice. The other stuff was like the bathtub, but the shower was working. So, but yeah, they come and check the problem, make sure that it's the problem, and then they leave. And hold, I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So second time they come, they like, I think he had said, oh gosh, 7. Hold. Okay. They had said something about, that they needed to replace the ice maker. So they came back and I think that literally, I'm not even making it up, they checked it again and was like, oh, it's still not making ice. And I'm like, no, still not making ice. And so they're like, oh, I think we need to replace the ice maker. Okay. So they had to order the part. And then like I think the owner of the house went to Miami and picked up the part and then came back and dropped it off on my front door. And it was like, contact the repairman again and get him to fix it. So repairman came for the third time, changed everything, and then was like, okay, everything should be working now. Everything was not working. So this last time he came and he took apart the fridge. They're not the fridge, but like in the back they have a water unit. Oh, I need to show you guys that. Yeah, let me show you that. Pause. Okay, so this is, I should have done it from the beginning. Here's my fridge, full of little magnets from everywhere. And oh, look, how cute. We're so cute. So next to the fridge, I have this cupboard. I think it's what it's called. I'm having issues with word finding. And this is, as you can see, like a jug, like those really big gallon water bottles. And that is where my water comes from. So I have to change out that, I order water or I send them the empty one and that goes through. So that is connected in the back to here. And this is where my water and my ice comes out of. Okay, back to the story. Okay, so back to the story. So the next time he came, he was like, oh, the ice maker's still not working. It's not the ice maker, obviously. He like took the back of the refrigerator, like inside the fridge, he took the back out, and that's where like the tubing from that 3 gallon, 5 gallon, or the big water jug is connected. And so he was like, obviously there's a blockage of some sort. There's like another thing, if you leave the water too low and it sucks air, then air can be trapped in the line, and it could have been that. But we're usually pretty good about changing it before it gets too low, usually. But since we had been out on vacation, maybe it was that, it was like a bunch of stuff. So he like did all of these things and like wired some things, and we figured out that the pipe in the back is frozen. Or not the pipe, but the water in the pipe line is frozen, and that's the blockage. Don't break your teeth. So yeah, so his solution, which I still need to research if that's really the solution, is to turn off the fridge and leave the doors open and take the ice tray bin out for 24 hours so that it melts. If that's so, that means that I have to take everything out from the fridge, and I think the freezer would be okay. Maybe. I'd have to keep an eye on it. But just kind of like eat almost everything this weekend, so that way the next time, gosh, what am I saying? What's wrong with me? Leave the stuff out. Yes, leave the stuff out. Oh, I have to eat everything because everything will go bad. That was not hard to say. What is wrong with my brain? I think it's the gremlin noises. Anyway, and I don't even know where I am my stitching either. Ugh. 1, this was the 7, skip 2, 3, skip 2. You have to skip 2, and I have a knot. Of course I have a knot. You get the knot out. Skip 2. And then Gazpacho brings me his ball again. So this is the other fun new toy, which I like because he can't put the ball under the couch. Here, take it. He puts the balls under the couch, then he whines for us to get the balls out. So not very conducive to watching TV and or stitching. But yeah, so that's kind of my life in a nutshell right now. Ooh, did I mess this up? 3, skip 2, 4. Is that right? See, everyone messes up, right? Oh yeah, okay. Because then there's one more page. So I'm on page 7 out of 16. I don't think you can see it. but it was the end of the page, and I was like, this isn't the end of my piece. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. So 4, 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. I don't watch many Stitch With Me videos, so I really don't have much to compare to. In fact, the Stitch With Me videos that I watch, I don't even really watch the stitching. I just like put them on as background noise, but it's not very many. Like, I don't want to like shout out or name drop, but I've seen a few, and I don't think that they're as scatterbrained as mine, which is why mine is a Stitch With Me remix, because mine will never be traditional, because I go against the grain of the rest, and I always have. I am me. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what it was. I had written it down. I don't remember. Pirates, Ice Maker. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. In other news, my husband's birthday is, Valentine's Day is this Friday. Aw, that's fun. We did our first Valentine's Day last year here, but we were like freshly on island. And our furniture, well, not our furniture was here. Our stuff wasn't here, so we just literally were living with like whatever we had brought in our suitcases. That was it. It was interesting. Very interesting time. I'm sure a lot of military people can relate to that. I think that the same thing happens. Like, you kind of live a long time without your personal belongings, and then all of a sudden they come back and leave them. But you realize how much stuff you really need to survive. Like, I remember before my stuff arrived, I was like, I'm doing pretty good. I'm living with like whatever's needed. I was fine. I was totally fine. And then when my stuff arrived, I was like, ugh, why is there so much stuff? Where am I gonna put it all? Like, those were the things. So I had already gotten rid of a ton of stuff when I was in San Antonio, but then when I arrived here, I got rid of more stuff. Because one, it's hard to get stuff here. So the saying, like, one man's trash is another man's treasure, is very true here. There are a lot of people that don't have a lot of things, both because, one, money, and two, because there's just no access to it. Like, we have, I don't remember, it was my aunt. So my aunt had just left, and she was like, I feel like Nassau is stuck in time. Like, just stuck in time. Because, like, you can go to the mall. It's very, very small. And, like, the stores there, like, all of the stuff is just, it's not, like, up to date. Like, men's suits look like suits that maybe were from, like, the early 2000s. It's just stuck in time. But I wonder if it's, like, merchandise that they've never been able to sell, and so they just keep it. I don't know. It's a fun little place to be. It's fun. So yeah. Questions. So I had received some questions. I put twice, like, an Ask Me Anything on Instagram, and to see, like, what kinds of things you guys wanted to know about me, my stitching, my life, like, basically ask me anything. And so I'll answer some of those. So number one was, why Kokohama Stitchery? The name Kokohama Stitchery came from, so there is a, like, my favorite restaurant here is called Coco Plum Bistro. It's owned, I think, by some, like, a French couple, either Swiss or French, can't remember. But it's called Coco Plum Bistro, and I love like their decoration, whoever decorated the place is super awesome because it's like all island chic, super indie, cool looking. It's a lot of fun. And so last year, I'm fairly new to all of this. If you haven't known, like my first floss tube was like in December. I started my Instagram for this like back in July, I think. Yeah, because my siblings, I have younger siblings. I'll talk about them in a second. I have younger siblings who stayed here for 5 weeks, and I want to say that I started my Instagram in July. So I'm fairly new to a lot of this. I mean, I've been stitching since I was 7, and I've been stitching forever, and everyone who knows me knows that I stitch. But the community aspect of it and like social media aspect of it is not even a year old. Anyway, so when I was like, you know what? I want to share my stitching with the world, and I want to be part of a community. I like a bigger community, not a bigger community, like a more, I guess a bigger community. So I had been a Redditor, or I am a Redditor, and I was part of the subreddit for cross stitch for a really long time. But I wanted something a little, I don't know, I guess personal, where you can like chat with people and make friends, which is exactly what happened. So anyway, when I was trying to come up with like a handle, I wanted it definitely to resemble where it was at, because that was also very new for me. You know, I live on an island, and I didn't want to be like, oh, Bahamas. So I fused, instead of Cocoa Plum, which is a tree, I think, or a bush, Cocoa Plum and Bahamas turned into Cocoa Hamas. So yeah, Cocoa Hamas. Which also is super funny because I have a lot of people who will call me Coco, including Katie Carney from Katie Stitching, because she was so scared to say my name, Rocio. She was so scared. But she said it like last video. Anyway, and Coco is like one of my, like C-O-C-O Coco well, I guess it's the family dog, but it's really my stepmom and dad's dog. The Infinity Poodle, who is like, if you ask my dad, is 40 years old, but if you ask him next year, she's 50. She ages 10 years every year, but she's super old, and she's like blind and deaf, and so when I hear someone call me Coco, I'm like, oh God, I'm like the Walking Dead Infinity Poodle. We make so much fun of her. Is this right? I'm losing count. No. Don't frog. So, yeah. Infinity Poodle. And that's Coco on the stitchery for you. What else? Oh, my siblings. Okay, so my family. Let me give you a little background. I am in a very modern family. One, my parents divorced way back in the day, and they each got remarried and each had a child. So I have 2 half siblings. And on my mom's side, I have my half sister, but she's my sister. I mean, both my half brother and half sister, they're my brother and sister. Like, we're just a big happy family. Athena is 14 this year and going through some serious teenage years. And my little brother, Antonio, or they call him T, is 13. And they don't have any blood relationship. They're not blood related. Is that how you say it? Yeah. They're not blood related. The only thing they have in common is that they have the same 2 older sisters, which would be Rafaela. She's my Mermaid of Atlantis sister. And myself. But my parents were very mature at that point in time. They're still mature. Sorry, Dad. You're still mature. For the most part. My mom doesn't watch any of this. She doesn't even know what YouTube is. But my dad, love you. They were just like, if we're gonna, why split them? Like, just throw them together. What's in the past is in the past, and the kids have no fault. So our half siblings, our younger siblings, they go with us everywhere. Family vacations, everything. So this last year, my mom and my dad decided to send them both together by themselves here to spend the summer so they wouldn't be stuck at home doing nothing with their lives, because that's kind of what is very common now for that age. And they got to live the island life with rolling blackouts and water getting shut off and going to the grocery store and hoping to get like a certain flavor or brand of something and not having it there. They got some real nice reality check, which I think was very good for them at that point in time. I have to finish this off. So yeah, there is that. And then what other questions did I have received? I had received a ton, but this is going to be super, super long if I do that. So I will answer. Oh, fun fact. So not fun fact, but last night I went to dinner. We went to an Indian restaurant at Bahamar, which is like one of the resorts here. Yes, that's how we go to dinner. We go to dinner either at like boutique restaurants like Coco Plum or the hotel. So we went to Bahamar and we went to, I think it's a newish restaurant because we hadn't been there yet, called Malam. Malam, I'll put it there. And I'll put Bahamar. So when we were there, Indian food. Yeah, it was Indian food. It was okay. It was okay. When I want Indian food, I want like some sloppy Indian food with a bunch of rice and naan, and I want it to be like buffet style, like get nasty with mango They didn't even have mango lassies now that I think about it. So it's more high end, and as much as I pretend that I'm super high end, I'm not. Pretend? No, just like people think, wrong words. People think that since I'm living here in the Bahamas, I am super high end or like looks and all this stuff. And me, myself, and I am not. Girl, guy, bro, dude, guys. I'll just say guys. Guys, stick me in a hole in the wall, and I am the happiest girl in the whole entire world. So I was not very thrilled with the Indian cuisine life. Like, the portions were like super small. Of course, it's super overpriced because everything is overpriced here. But it was something different. We had to try something different. But anyway, so I got back home. Rika from House of Stitch and Stash sent me a message on Instagram. We talk quite a bit. I have like some really good friends on Instagram now that are in the cross stitch life. So like my really good friends right now are definitely Rika, Katie Carney from Katie Stitching. We'll like message each other all the time about random stuff. Those are my two that I talk to the most, but I talk to quite a bit of people. And it was like, hey, I'm about to go live, join me. And it was like, oh, I wish I could, but I have dinner, so I would totally, I would totally put you on the dinner table and like watch you stitch and chat with you, but my husband would kill me. She was like, no, go spend time with your darling, our darling husband. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I get back. It had been like, gosh, it was a good hour and a half after, and I get back home, which like my drive from the resort to my house is like all of 7 minutes. And I get an alert that says, House of Stitch and Stash has started a live stream. I'm like, what? She had told me like over an hour ago that she was doing this. How is this possible? So I jump on, and she and the Stitching with the Sisterlies, Cheryl and Colleen, like they were just chatting it up in this chat room, and Rika was like having a blasty blast by herself. So you already know I had to get in on this action. So anyway, we stayed like, I think it was another hour and a half. Like her live stream expired and then she had to renew it again because we just like would not stop chatting. It was so weird. Like I know that people like if my family's watching right now or if Brenda is watching right now, they're like, what? But no, it was hilarious. It was like chatting with like a group of friends because like obviously we don't know these people in person, but we've seen them enough on video and we talk to them enough that they just end up being friends and they're real people. And so we were just having a ball. And so I was saying like, oh, or I think Colleen asked me like, hey, have you recorded your Stitch with me? And I was like, no, didn't get around to it. And so Rika was like, I have a question for you, for your Ask Me Anything, or like for your Stitch with me. And I'm like, what? And so I think Colleen again was like, just ask it here. And she's like, no. So then I got scared. I was like, oh my God, what the heck is she gonna ask me? So today she sent me the question because I told her, hey, like my husband's leaving. I can finally record this thing. What is your burning question? And so she's like, how did you meet your love? And then she put like ... Gazpacho, which is completely zonked out. This is like, let me show you my love. That's my love. That's how he normally is. Oh, don't judge my Christmas. So, okay. So the burning question, the Rika House of Stitch and Stash question is, how did I meet my love, Gazpacho? Which actually requires a prop for the story. Please hold. This is Gazpacho. This is my first love. Oh, I have his cookies in here, so I have to give him a treat now. Hold on. And then I'll continue my story. Here you go. Good boy. So, when I was by myself, still a non-married, dating my husband, his name is Alberto, by the way. I've never said his name. I was watching Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I'll put the correct name below. And she was talking about how she always talks about my husband, and that she never says his name, so she said his name. So my husband's name is Alberto. So I was dating him, but I was by myself, single. I was working so many hours. I was working 2 jobs. I had my like little apartment, but I was out of the apartment like easy 13 hours a day, easy. So there was no way of having a dog, and I've always wanted a Frenchie, always. I can't even remember life without wanting a Frenchie. And that cookie jar was at Target, and I bought my first Gazpacho. And Gazpacho was Gazpacho before Gazpacho even knew he existed. And the name comes from, so my younger brother, he used to watch this show on Cartoon Network called Chowder. And all of the characters on that show were named after foods. And there was an episode with some character named Gazpacho, and I thought it was like the coolest name for a dog. So that's how Gazpacho became Gazpacho. And now he's awake and he's got Dino, the dinosaur. So yeah, so then after that I moved from my apartment to my in-laws' house because they had moved out, and they were super nice, and in order for us who were like just starting out to save some money, they let us live in their house for a little bit, which was super far away from work. So far. But anyway, it was a house, and there was another dog there, Bailey. She's like a golden lab, and she's super sweet, but she had never been by herself because his the parents, I don't know, my father-in-law stays at home. So we had new problems, which was Bailey was going to be by herself all day. Like, what was she going to do? And it was a perfect opportunity to get a dog to keep Bailey company. And so then Gazpacho came from, oh gosh, how did we come about him? Oh, so he is actually a Craigslist dog. I do not support Craigslist animals. Like, I don't support that idea. I also don't really support the idea of breeders. I would much rather rescue an animal. Let me give you my thought process on this. When I was searching for my dog on Craigslist, I thought to myself, these dogs probably came from a puppy mill somewhere, and or somebody bought them and are reselling them to try to make some cash, or they got them and they're full of health issues and that's why they're selling them on Craigslist. So in my head, I was saving a dog because I just couldn't believe that a French bulldog would be for sale on Craigslist. It just like didn't make sense in my head. So I saw Gazpacho, like a picture of him, and I fell in love. And in my head, I already knew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this dog, and this dog is more than likely, I'm already like prepping for the worst, more than likely has a ton of health issues, and I'm gonna have to invest a lot of money on getting him healthy, but I'm going to spoil him to death, and he's gonna be my forever life partner. Yeah. And so anyway, we got the dog, and right away, obviously I fell in love. I was like, this is my dog. But in the ad, it never said, and let me see if he'll come over. It never said, and I found out there. Gazpacho, come here. Come here. Come on. Hold on. That Gazpacho is tatted. Let's hide that. But he's got a mega tattoo of like a serial number that's like attached to his birth certificate. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm taking this dog and I'm going to take care of him and nothing bad is ever going to happen to him. Ever, ever. Took him to the vet, checked out, everything looked okay. He had an ear infection and he had, not a UTI, but he had some funky stuff going on in his junk. And also, are you want to tell your story? Oh no, he's barking. He's barking at the original Gazpacho. He has jealousy issues. See? That's what he's barking at. Yep. He also barks at dogs and horses and everything else that he sees on TV. He's not very smart. So anyway, he had like stuff going on in his junk, and the other thing he had was that his little never came down. So either the people on Craigslist like had bought him from a breeder or something and they wanted to breed him and they couldn't get around to it because they noticed he was unbreedable, or I don't know what happened. But the fact of the matter is, he's in my life, he's living his best life, he's spoiled rotten, so spoiled rotten, and no one's ever gonna tattoo him again. That's Gazpacho. What? Why you see my knee? And yeah. And I think that's pretty good. So I'm finishing up. I stitched like 3 lines, but there was a lot of talking. And let me know if this was something that you enjoyed or not. Let me know how I can make it better. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Constructive, not bashing, mean, dad. And let me know. So I plan on recording my floss tube not this week, next week, because my husband goes out on it. See, he wants to like spread himself on his new toy. Yep, yeah. You're a mess, Gazpacho. You're a mess. You're a mess, boys. You're a mess. So, what I was gonna say was, I'm recording my floss tube not this week, but next week, because my husband goes out of town for business again. So, we'll see what time lets us do. Maybe I'll do another stitch with you, but maybe not. I don't know. You have to let me know if you enjoyed this or not. If not, then I won't do it again. So yeah, happy stitching. Hope you enjoyed spending time with me. I have no sign off, but love you very much, all of you floss tubers and cross stitch community. Peace out.